Check, make sure everything's going.
Good. Check the audio real quick.
Yeah, yeah.
That's good. All right, come on. All right, Shalom. All right, we the Hebrew Israelites coming back at you with another lesson here. Lord, will this is edifying. First and foremost, we want to give all the praises and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and much blessing and salutations to the Akim around the four corners of the earth who are diligently pushing out this truth and sincerity. So, you know, we the brothers here in GMS Tampa, and we're going to do a quick lesson, man, going into the times that we're living in, you know, because as we see the events that are happening on the earth, all right, we know that we're getting ready to come into the judgment of the great whore, okay, the Babylon the Great, the virgin daughter of Babylon, okay, and we're getting ready to see this place. As a matter of fact, let me start off with this precept before, because we got an article we want to get into. This is Revelation chapter 18, and I'll start at verse 1. It says, "And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird." Okay, and again, Babylon the Great is America. Okay, and it's saying here, Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Because America is not going to be inhabited by any people. The only thing that's going to be left here is going to be desert creatures. Okay, because this place, America, will be destroyed from coast to coast. As we're getting ready to read, the Lord is speaking through these other leaders of the nations, man. They'll tell you exactly what the scriptures said, man. And you still have people out here who don't believe the prophets and the things that they're saying, which in turn you don't believe the Heavenly Father. Okay, so it says, "For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of fornication," and that's why these people don't believe, because they're made drunk off the wine of this place. It says, "And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her," the leaders of these other nations. And then you see that, man. These other nations have entered into so many treaties and got into bed with America, to where now they're catching that they're getting burned. Now they're starting to realize that they've been burned by this whore. You know, it burns when they pee. All right, and they you know, you talk to any man that's ever been burned, man, they were pissed off when they found that shit out. Okay, and that's what we're seeing happening, man. The nations are become angry. If a brother wants to get that real quick, I think it's in Jeremiah. "Therefore the nations are mad." They have 51. Yeah, brother, get that real quick. I'll read this again. It says, "For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacy," man. And in prime example number one is China. They're the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies, man, because America is a major import country. America doesn't export it that much. So nations like China have become rich off of America buying their goods. Okay? My brother got that? Go ahead.
It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, verse 7. It says, "Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad."
Yeah, there you go, man. The nations have drunken of their wine, which again, the wine is not it's not talking about literal wine, man. It's talking about the philosophies, the way of living. Because as you look around the earth, man, what does America do when they go into these other nations? They spread democracy, or so-called democracy. Okay, either they do that by force, or the nations willingly enter into an agreement with America, which hey, that's why you got the world currency is what? The U.S. dollar, and that's where it stems from. Okay, because these other nations, they want to become just like America. They want to have the ability that purchasing power that America has. So they have to enter in a contract with the U.S. dollar, man. So their goods have to be purchased by dollars. And so when you have control over a nation with their money, what do? You tell them, well, you got to do this, you got to do that if you want to continue having this money. Okay? And that was the point real quick. It says, therefore the nations are mad, man. And that's the time that we're starting to see, man, as these nations are getting to the point to where enough is enough. Okay? And not only amongst the enemies of America, but also the allies of America are going to eventually, pursuant to Revelation 17, just shoot at this place as well, man. Okay, so it says, verse 4, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. Okay, and that's talking about the elect of Israel. The Lord is saying to come up out of this place physically, man. Stop, meaning, again, the same thing as these other nations are doing. They've fallen under the philosophies of this place, and they've become defiled as well. So the angel here is saying what? Come out of this place, man. Meaning stop following the ways of this place. Come out of the ways of America. Okay? So it says, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquities. So the Lord has remembered the iniquities of this place, and this place is going to be judged for it. So real quick, skipping on down to verse 21, Revelation 18 and 21. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. And that's how this place is going to be brought down, man, is with great violence. Okay, and if you look at real quick, let me get this, and then you brothers can get a couple precepts before we get into the article, if brothers have any. This is Genesis chapter 6, and let me see, Slacker, give me 1 second. Right, here it is. Yep. Genesis chapter 6 and verse 13. And the Most High said unto Noah, the end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Okay, so once again, here we are in the end days. Okay, and what does Yahushua say in Matthew 24? As in the days of Noah, right? So just as in the days of Noah, the earth is once again filled with violence. Okay, and wickedness. So what is the Lord going to do? He's going to destroy the earth and save a remnant again. Okay, but this time, because the Lord did promise us that he wasn't going to flood the earth by water. That's the whole rainbow thing. This time he's not going to do it by water. He's going to do it by fire, which is the second death. Okay, so that's the time that we're getting ready to come into, because that fire is going to come via the nuclear missiles that's going to hit America. Okay, get real quick before we continue on. The battle of old was with confusion and garments rolled in blood. Somebody get that real quick, because this is not going to be, this coming judgment that's coming to America is going to be a judgment that's never been seen on the earth, man. You've had nations go to war and be destroyed by what? The sword, by physical swords, by guns. You have World War I, World War II. World War II was the last war, and it was a prelude of what was to come in these last days. Because how did World War II end? By a not even a thermonuclear. It was an atom bomb, an atomic nuclear weapon that was let off in Japan. Okay, and that was just a precursor of what was to come. Because just as that war was ended with that, this war is going to begin with that. Okay, because now the nations, they're saying we are strong. And they're saying unto America, has thou become as weak as we are? Because now these other nations have gotten the power that America has had. And America's whole structure, its whole, the whole nation is being brought low, man. The dollar, the value, the people, is in internal conflicts. Okay, America's at war in too many fronts. Okay, just as the Roman Empire before, man. So this is no new thing under the sun. That which is that which shall be. Whoever got that real quick.
It's the book of Isaiah 9 and verse 5.
And you can speak on it, God.
It says, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, and the garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. So as you look at in the times of the ancient times, you will see the warriors, they would fight with their swords, their shields, okay, loud noise, Okay, but in this time that the Lord is getting ready to bring upon the earth in this next world war, okay, it's going to be by the burning of the fuel of fire. And how is that going to be by? All right, by the ICBM missiles that are going to be shot from the other end of heaven over here into the land of Babylon the Great, which is today called America. All right, and other different parts of the world. Okay,
And it says burning the fuel of fire because that goes into combustion. These missiles, you know, they are pushed, you know, by what's the thrust, you know, by rocket technology, you know. So that's giving you a future prophecy how this next world war is going to be, and that gives you an idea how quick this war is going to be because you know these missiles do a lot of damage really quick. You know, we're, of course, the brother got the article about what we're going to go into. This is ultimately again our prophecy. How the Lord's going to do this place out, you know, in a very short amount of time. It's going to be by these missiles.
Yeah, those ancient battles was, you know, a close contact, you know, close combat, so to say, hand-to-hand combat with, you know, close range. But see, the Lord, the situation that we in now, the Lord is going to utterly waste this place, man. All right, the Lord He's not playing games no more. It's not going to be one kingdom overcoming another kingdom and taking a few people captive. No, this time the Lord will rain fire on this place. The book of Isaiah chapter 54 verse 16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy.
What was that one dude's name? Something Oppenheimer. What was his name? Albert Oppenheimer. I forget his first name, but the gentleman whose last name was Oppenheimer, he was the father of those missiles, man. Him and other scientists as well. But what happened during that World War II? There was a division amongst those German scientists. Okay, some were taken to Russia, and the other ones came over to America. Albert Einstein being one of those that came over to America to help with the projects. Okay.
Operation Paperclip.
Yep. Manhattan Project too. Okay. So hey, this is those men. The Smith create. You know, the Lord hath created the Smith to what?
The Smith that blew up the coals in the fire.
Right. The Smith that blew up the coals in the fire, man. That's these scientists that came up with these weapons, man.
Yes.
Because what does the Smith do? They create swords. They sit there, they heat it up, they blow up the coals, they get it hot and heat up the metal and then bang it into the form that it needs to be to create a sword. Well, the modern day blacksmiths that create these weapons are these scientists, okay, and these engineers that create these missiles, that do the calculations to get the projections right. That's why they do missile tests, okay, because they test the missile to make sure they got enough thrust to go at a certain angle to reach up to its peak. And you know, same thing that they do with NASA. You know, when they sending ships off to space, there's calculations to the trajectory that it has to take to get to where it's going to go, man. And it has to have the right amount of speed too. So it's the same thing with these missiles. Okay.
Yeah, because it says, and I have created the waster to destroy. It's like you going to tell how they doing these missile tests. They making sure, man, when these missiles hit ground zero, man, that it completely obliterate everything moving. All right, that's why, you know, the article that brother go get into, man. It said it's 4 missiles that can destroy this place, man.
Right.
All right, so they cover this place out, man. They don't need,
and that's just
so many. Exactly, you know, they making this to make sure it completely do its job, man, to wipe this place out. That's ultimately the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua on him, because he had ordained this place to be destroyed. He said he preserved this place for fire, man.
Right. Anybody got another quick one before we get into our?
I just wanted to get this quick word here for Isaiah 54:16 on the etymology for Smith. Right, it says one who works in metal. It says skilled. This is a point of skilled worker. Okay, and so that skill is going into that knowledge of creating these, you know, splitting up. The atoms. All right, and creating. It takes a certain skill.
Right. The skill came from on high. The Most High created them to do that, you know.
Yes, yeah, and that's the point, man. So the Lord Yahweh Shem, and it says armorer, man. All right, so the Lord has created these men, giving them the knowledge, giving them the breakdown, okay, onto how to split these atoms and certain, you know, elements to create that weapon to be a waster to destroy. So it was already purposed, okay, for this place to be destroyed, man. Right. The Lord is putting it on their mind to fulfill His will, you know.
And this is real quick. This is the bloodline of Cain right here. This is Genesis chapter 4, and I'm gonna read verse 22. And Zillah, she also bare Tubal-Cain, an instructor of every artificer in brass and iron. The sister of Tubal-Cain was Naamah, but it said Tubal-Cain, an instructor of every artificer in brass and iron. What are these missiles made out of, man? Iron. You got the different metals that make these things up, man. Okay, steel. Okay, but that's what Esau has had that knowledge of weaponry, man. Okay, so that's the Smith created, you know, because what the spirit of Cain. Okay, that spirit came back through Esau, which his blessing was what? The sword. Okay, pursuant to Genesis chapter 27. Okay, so that was it on that word.
A little bit more. I'll back you up. One who works in metal.
Yeah, there you go. Brass and iron, man. There you go. You couldn't pinpoint this even further, man. You know, the scriptures hit the nail upon the head, man. It's just we use these other things, these sources that we have to further explain to you and show you who this man is, man. So go ahead.
Yep. Last part of it. No, you get up. The last part of it is it says to cut work with a sharp instrument. So once again, in the scripture saying, what's that Job where it says, my sword shall be bathed in heaven, you know? So, that's in what? It shall make a slaughter. So that sharp instrument, okay, that's bathed in heaven, okay, the iron, what does it say, the bull of steel, okay, shall strike him through. So it's going into the missiles, but the technology that these devils have was given from on high, man. The knowledge, that knowledge of being a smith was given from Yahweh Shem Shai to create that sharp instrument, man.
Right. Well, that's what it said. It said the Lord created the smith to blow the coals, you know? My father, you got something?
Yeah, to back up that point. Job 33, start at verse 15. Job 33, verse 15. It says, in a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, and slumberings upon the bed, then he openeth the ears of men, and sealeth their instruction, that he may withdraw men from his purpose and hide pride from man. But the point going to when Esau, when he dreams, that's sort of say he don't sleep unless he calls somebody to fall. So going to these wise German scientists, where the Lord had put the mind on them, the spirit on them to create these missiles, and that's to make a clear point that the Lord's in control. So the instructions, to do these certain things, it didn't come from nobody besides Yahweh Shem Shai. It says there's a spirit in man, but the Most High giveth them understanding. To do what this thing it does, these missiles is a miracle. That's what we talk about it being a miracle. And the Lord gave him that technology, all to use against himself in his last days.
Yeah, a point one of the brothers always make, I believe it's my young. The brother always say that too. His blessing is his curse. Because he was blessed with the sword, but how else he's going out? He's going out by the sword, man. And I believe what Yahweh Shai said that too. He said, put up thy sword, He that killeth with the sword,
Yahweh Shai gave him the blessing, and he's going to take the blessing from him. So real quick, Daniel 12 and 4, it says, but thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased, man. So knowledge has been increased upon the earth, man. All right, not only in the scriptures, but also in many different things. I mean, just not, 60, 70 years ago, there wasn't even a cell phone around. Shit, 25 years ago, it was cell phones weren't even like they are right now. They didn't really come into, and now look at a cell phone, you can do everything with a cell phone. People make fucking movies with iPhones, man.
Oh yeah.
Literally, people record fucking movies with an iPhone, man. You can do, and people can live off their phones, man. YouTube videos, you can call people and look at their face while you're talking to them. And not only so, but now they have what? Hypersonic thermonuclear missiles. Missiles that can travel at 7 times faster than the speed of light or the speed of sound, and completely obliterate everything in its path, man.
Take out a whole state, man.
A whole coast.
Whole state of Texas.
Yeah.
One missile can take out the whole state of Texas, man, in less than 30 minutes.
Right, and we'll get to some precepts, but let me get this article real quick. It's off of radaronline.com. It says Russian officials say there will be nothing left if Russia unleashes nukes on both U.S. coast where 230 million live. Now, you got to think, do the math. America, let's just say, has about 320 million people, right? 4 missiles, it says where 230 million live. Minus that, you got about 100 million left, 90 million left people. How many people you gonna think are gonna be dying because of the famine before those missiles even come? The whole population of America is gonna be through, except for the elect, of course. But nonetheless, the whole country is gonna be shot at missiles, not just the coast, the west and east coast, the whole country, because you got military bases all around America. So the whole country is gonna be shot at. And the scriptures even tell you in Revelation 9, if a brother wants to hold that on deck, 220 million missiles are going to be shot at this place, man. Warheads, that is. Not missiles, but warheads. Which one missile can carry up to like 15 warheads, man. If not even more, with the advances that they're coming out with. Okay? My brother got that? Daniel's 9? Or Revelation 9?
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 9, verse 16. And the number of the army of the horsemen was...
Start up a couple precepts up.
All right. Revelation chapter 9, verse 12. One woe is past, and behold, there come 2 woes more hereafter.
Yeah, so World War I passed, and then 2 more woes after, which the word woe means destruction. Which, hey, the world wars, the 2 that passed, were great destructions upon the earth, man. And guess who suffered the greatest losses? China, Russia. America didn't suffer as much as these other nations did. A lot of the European nations suffered, man. Okay, the East nations suffered. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 13. And the 6th angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the 4 horns of the golden altar, which is before the Most High, saying to the 6th angel, which had the trumpet, loose the 4 angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates.
Right, because the angels are holding back the winds of destruction for the elect to be sealed. And once the elect are sealed, you best believe this place is out the window. Okay? Yeah. With the kitchen sink and everything. Go ahead.
There's a precept that says they come, in what I believe is Ezekiel, where they shall enter into the house of the thief. So they're coming through the windows, man.
Yep.
You know, being a way of coming out of heaven and piercing, all right, you people, man. And backing that up, what's coming out of those windows? That destroying wind. Mm-hmm. So that wind is coming and it's going to sweep the house with the besom of destruction, man.
Right. The Lord said, open the windows from up high.
That's right, man.
You know, so the windows being the heavens, the missile's going to come down upon this place. Go ahead, keep going.
Revelation chapter 9, verse 15. And the 4 angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the 3rd part of men.
And the 3rd part of men is who? Esau, Edom. Okay, which when you go into the book of Genesis, which we brought out earlier, in the beginning there were 3 classifications of men: the sons of the wicked, the sons of the Most High, and the sons of men. Okay, so hey, that's the wicked, man. But again, you have 2/3, or not two. You have 2/3 here in America of our people, the Israelites, that are joined hand in hand with the devil. Okay. Which are wicked as well. So they're going to go into this, because it talks about in Revelation 14 that those that receive their mark, that worship the beast, shall be what? Cast into the lake of fire with the beast. Okay? Go ahead.
Revelation chapter 9, verse 16. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them.
Yep. So 220 million, man. Or 200 million. Okay? That's a lot of missiles, man. That's a lot of firepower. So, as we're going to get into the article, Russia talking about 2 missiles will take out 230 million people. That's about 2/3 of America, of the population, man. That's a huge number off of just 4. Yeah. So, I don't know how. Well, Russia got thousands of missiles, so if they got the dead man switch, meaning all their missiles are going to launch if one missile gets launched to them. So this place is just about out, man. This place is hey man, it's going to literally be left nothing here. And when you go into that word desolate, it means empty. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 17. And thus I saw the horses in a vision, and them that sat on them.
Yeah, and it's describing them in this vision as horses. And John the Revelator did see horses. This was the vision that he saw. Okay, but what do the horses represent? Power, man. Okay, so these missiles are what? It's a power that's moving. Okay, which is gonna go. It's gonna describe them further. Go ahead.
And thus I saw the horses in a vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire and of jacinth and brimstone, and the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions.
Yep. Because what does the lion do with its head? It devours. That's where the mouth of the lion is. And what's in the head of the warhead of the missiles? The warheads, man. Which that's what it does. It devours. Go ahead.
Yeah, which are pretty much like the teeth of that lion. Yeah.
Yep.
Great. That's how you know when he was speaking about the 200 million. That's how you know he's going into the other warheads. Because it said, and out of their mouth issued fire and smoke and brimstone.
Yep. And out of their mouth issued fire, smoke, and brimstone. Okay? Because that's what's going to happen, man. You're going to have the fire from the explosion, the smoke, and the brimstone, man. You're going to have rocks flying, huge chunks of land just flying and crushing people to death miles away, man. You just imagine you seeing the smoke and then all of a sudden this big ass rock just boom, this completely devours you. If you don't get hit by the seismic wave, sonic boom hits you before.
Yeah, because that mushroom cloud, it makes a vacuum effect. That's why comes up to the top. So niggas gonna be getting sucked into that fire too. You know, they're gonna get pulled in.
That's right.
Verse 18. By these three was the third part of men killed by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths. For their power is in their mouth and in their tails. For their tails were like unto serpents and had heads, and with them they do hurt.
Yeah, man. So they're for their powers in their mouth, but we explained that already. The warheads, and in their tails, because how does a missile get to where it's going, man? The propulsion system.
Yeah.
The majority of the bottom end of the missile is a huge fuel tank. That's why when it gets to space, the top part of the missile detaches from the rest, and then it starts to do what it do. You know.
Quick precept, Joel 2:3. A fire devoured before them. I'm reading this in the NLT. Fire burns in front of them, and flames follow after them. Ahead of them, the land lies as beautiful as the Garden of Eden. Behind them is nothing but desolation. Not one thing escapes.
And going to the word desolation.
Okay.
You know, but it said what? The fire cometh before them and the fire behind them, man. The warheads and the propulsion system. And it said a Garden of Eden before and the desolation after. And America is a beautiful place, man. America is a very good, beautiful place. You know? So, hey, what's going to be left afterwards? It said desolation.
Yeah.
You got it?
Yeah, kind of. Real quick, Slocky. It says a place laid waste, ruined, waste.
Mm-hmm. Going to the etymology, or the root word, yeah.
Okay. The root, it says dryness, drought, heat, parting heat.
Hey, the lake of fire, man.
Yeah.
But this place is going to be laid waste.
Look, the root word of that, brother, real quick. A sword, a instrument of cutting. So that's going back to that the sword, you know. Missiles my sword shall be bathed in heaven, and it's going to do a what? It's going to do an ultimate cut, man. And the Lord used saw Edom as that sword too. You know.
And I went into the online etymology of the word desolate because that's the root word of desolation. It says, I'll leave here. I'll go to the verb. Well, I'll go to the adjective because it's describing how this place is going to be. It says mid 14th century of persons disconsolate, miserable, overwhelmed with grief, deprived of comfort. It says without companions, solitary, lonely, also of places. So this is describing of places, desolate, right? Uninhabited, abandoned. From Latin desolatus, past principle of desolare, leave alone, a desert. So America's gonna be left a desert, man. Which means what? Total annihilation, total destruction. It's not gonna be like the movies show you, where there's still some burned up cars on the side of the road, buildings, a little bit of crumbled buildings, the Statue of Liberty in the sand. No, man, it's going to be a complete wasteland. Look at the Sahara Desert out in Africa. That's what America's going to be, from coast to coast. Okay?
Yeah, because Lord said He created the waster to destroy. So, hey, like you went to that desert land, you know, after that fire, after a certain period of time when that fire burned out, this place is, you know, go be inhabited by what's it? Every creeping foul, not creeping foul, but foul creature. You know, the desert place, man.
Yep, that was it on the Revelation 9.
Yeah.
Let me go back to this article real quick. It says a Russian. Well, let's get into the article. It says a Russian official on state TV made an ominous threat to the U.S. when he claimed that 4 nuclear weapons could take out the entirety of both coasts, according to reports. The East Coast, from Florida to Maine, has a population of about 188 million, more than half of the U.S. The West Coast has a population of about 54 million. Alexei Sorovlev, a member of the Russian parliament, said that there would be nothing left of the coast of Russia, if Russia uses its new nuclear weapon, according to the Daily Mail. I will confidently tell you that to destroy the entire east coast of the U.S., and this is a quote, 2 Sarmat missiles are necessary and 2 missiles for the west coast, he said. 4 missiles and there will be nothing left. They think the mushroom cloud will be taller than a high rise. That mushroom cloud will be visible from Mexico. So hey man, they telling you what's about to happen. They telling you.
Flat out telling you.
Exactly.
Hey, it's the Lord speaking through him. You know, so Ezekiel 38.
Yeah, get that real quick. Yep.
Ezekiel chapter 38. Now you want to start at verse 4 and then bring it in?
Yeah.
All right, come on. Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 4. I'll start at verse 3. And say, thus saith the Lord power, behold, I am against thee, O God, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. All right, because the Lord is also against them too. You know, but He's going to use them to destroy this place.
Right. In the modern day, Medes. Did it say Medes already?
It said, O God, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal.
Yeah, the modern day God. Matter of fact, what precept is that?
Verse 3. Ezekiel 38, 3.
All right, kind of. Yeah, let me get that in the blue letter real quick. Ezekiel 38 and 3. Okay, let's go into the word there for Gog. Okay, the etymology. It says, or maybe it's when it goes into. Actually, it's in Google. Read that again, Orchestra.
Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 3. And say, thus saith the Lord power, behold, I am against thee, O God, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal.
Yep. So it says, this is in Google. When you type in Gog and Magog today, it says Gog and Magog live near to the sea that encircles the earth and can be counted only by the Most High. It says the sea is claimed to be the Caspian Sea, Black Sea, or the Sea of Azov, which is where? Over there by Ukraine, Russia, all that area, that northern area, man. So back then, Gog and Magog used to be inhabited by Japhet, but today, who's living in that area, man? These Edomites and these countries known as Russia, okay? That's the main dude. And he has all these nations over there, which used to be part of the Soviet Union or whatever, the USSR, okay? The whatever it was called, the Soviet Union, you know, whatever you want to call it. That was all those nations that entailed Magog and Gog and Magog, man. Okay? Go ahead, keep reading.
Verse 4. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling the sword.
Yep, and that's, guess what? Those armies, is the militaries, is these tanks, is these jets, and it's the missiles. Okay, because it said, read that part again.
I'm starting from the top again. Ezekiel 38 and 4. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sort of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords.
Yeah, with all sorts of armor, man. Okay, so again, that's these militaries and their weapons, man. Which the ultimate weapon is the missiles. Go ahead.
Okay. Verse 5, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togomar of the north quarters, and all his bands and many people with thee.
Yeah, which Gomer in Togomar, that's basically Turkey. And you see what they're doing right now, what's going on with Turkey. They don't want Finland and Sweden to join NATO, and they're about to invade Syria, man. And who's Syria's ally? Russia. Okay? And who does Turkey get their missile defense systems from? Russia. Okay?
That's the hooks being put back in his jaws.
Did it go over that?
Yeah, we read that verse 4.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that verse 4 where it says, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, that's going back into that Soviet Union spirit, man. Of destruction, of taking over nations, man. Which when you go into Vladimir Putin, his name, he literally means like a general of victory. Okay, and that's what this man is, man. A man of war. And that's what this guy is, man. All right, go ahead.
Verse 7, be thou prepared and prepare for thyself thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them.
Yep, and see, that's what Russia is to these nations, man. A guard unto them because of what? Their military strength. That's why a lot of these nations are aligning themselves with Russia. Okay, nations like India and so on and so forth. Okay?
Iran.
Yep, Iran, another one. Go ahead.
All right, verse 8, after many days thou shalt be visited, in the latter years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, and is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Israel, which have been always waste, but it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. Yeah, I'm gonna
Keep going.
we'll just keep reading on that.
Yeah, keep going.
Right, thou shalt ascend and come like a storm, thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and all thy bands and many people with thee.
Yeah, so hey, just imagine that, man. Imagine a military power coming with their jets and helicopters and warships. It looks like a cloud, man. It's like it's coming. And that's how this plays, because America will be invaded, man. They will be shot down and they will be invaded. Okay, keep going.
Verse 10, thus saith the Lord power, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought.
Yeah, and that's the things that are coming to mind with the article we just read. They're thinking about blasting this place apart, man. We watched a video a little bit ago that came out 11 days, and what did the guy say? He said we destroy a nation that is against us or something like that because of their policies they're making against us. Who's he talking about? He wasn't talking about Brazil. He wasn't talking about South Africa. He was talking about America. He said a large country. Okay.
Yeah, and that's heavy because again, they're flat out telling you they don't care about LG, whatever. They don't care about babies. They talking about blowing up everybody. It says in Isaiah 13th chapter, these arrows that's coming not going to spare nobody. Even if you're pregnant, they don't care. When that buttons get pressed, however the situation goes when they set up these missiles, there's no going back from there, and they're ready. That's on the table. And that's against all prophecy. And saved against saved, that's how the saying goes. To catch a thief, send a thief. To catch a devil, send a devil. So that's why the Lord's raising them up against each other.
Hey, that's what he did to us.
Yeah, exactly.
He sent our own people against ourselves, man. That's what the whole Buffalo soldiers were. Bob Marley singing about the Buffalo Soldiers, but those were Jakes, okay, the Southern Kingdom, so-called Negroes that were set up to go after the Native Americans, man. Because they needed Jake to kill Jake. Because Esau was getting his ass whooped. Okay? Go ahead.
Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 11. And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest.
Right, because a walled village, the wall was the defense of the city, the first defense of a city. Now, a city without walls is easily invaded. Anybody can sneak in at any time, go up in your tents, go in your houses, and kill you, man. But what is America? An unwalled village, because they really don't got missile defense systems like that, man. And the ones they do got are garbage as hell. Trash. Okay? Straight trash, man. Go ahead.
I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls and having neither bars nor gates.
And that's America for you, man. Dwelling safely. The people here are at rest, man. Watching playoffs, watching Johnny Depp and this chick on TV, watching American Housewives and the Wives of Atlanta, whatever, the Housewives of Atlanta, you know, just straight enjoying their days out on a boat on Memorial Day. This place is at rest, man. So these nations are seeing this and they're like, yo, what's wrong with these people? They talking mad shit, but their country's just, the door's wide open. You know, go ahead.
Verse 12, to take a spoil and to take a prey, to turn thy hand upon the desolate place that are now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations, which have gotten cattle and goods that dwell in the midst of the land.
Yeah, so these people are going to be spoiled and taken as a prey, man. Meaning they're going to be devoured by the sword from these men, which if the brother wants to get that Isaiah 13.
Spirit.
You got it?
Yeah,
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I was going to go to too.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll grab it. Isaiah 13, you want a specific scripture? All right. Isaiah 13 and verse 7. Therefore,
No, it's verse 17.
kind of right to the point, man.
It says the Medes.
Yeah, Isaiah 13 verse 17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows also shall dash the young man to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb.
We'll start at, where'd you start at?
I was going to start up like verse 7.
No, well, you don't have to start up that high. Start at,
Verse
you
15.
start at verse 9.
Okay, now, verse 9.
Yep.
Isaiah 13 verse 9. Behold, the day of the Lord Yahweh cometh cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate. And echo that word desolate again. That's what the missiles is purpose to do, man. The scriptures say the Lord is going to have the earth shake to and fro as a drunkard. Okay, why? Because this place is filth, man. It's filthy. So these missiles is going to do its job as far as purifying this place, man, from the inside out, man. You know, it says, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it.
And he shall destroy the sinners, man. Contrary to popular belief, the Lord doesn't hate the sin and hates the sin and loves the sinner. The Lord hates sinners. So you people that commit sin, iniquity out here, you're gonna be destroyed, man, in these last days. And it said, what? Behold, the day of the Lord cometh cruel both with wrath and fierce anger, man. The day of the Lord is gonna be cruel unto you people. Okay? To lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof of it, man, because it's gonna be cruel, because one, your ultimate judgment is missiles. And before that, you're gonna be, these other military troops are gonna be killing and raping and devouring people, man. Go ahead.
Yep, verse 10. For the stars of heaven and the constellation thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened, and his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine.
All right, because these missiles are gonna have that nuclear winter. Okay, this place is gonna be utterly dark out here, man. You're not gonna see the stars. You're not gonna see the sun. You're not gonna see the moon, because the whole world is gonna be covered in a smoke. Especially in America. Well, there ain't gonna be nobody here to see no clouds, but that's how this place is gonna be.
Yeah, and even before those missiles hit, you think about the scene in 300 when the Persians, they shot them arrows, how the whole sky got dark. You know, that's how it's gonna be when these missiles stuff. The whole sky's gonna be covered with missiles.